those who are catching this live. And if you're catching the replay, then I want to say I'm glad you're catching the replay. Come on. Let's keep this party started. Or let's get it started. Okay. There's a few things that I want to share with you, and I don't want to keep you long, but I do want to give you some nuggets to help you out. And that is clarity as it pertains to COVID, that ties into gut health and our ability to expedite fat loss. Science right now is starting to catch up with what we've been talking about for over 12 months. And that is the healthier you are on the inside, the more likely you will be able to fight off these symptoms that people are concerned with as it pertains to COVID. And when I say fight off, I'm talking about help you avoid finding yourself in the hospital on a ventilator. There is no perfect blueprint. Each and every situation is going to be unique and different. However, science says that the healthier you are with your gut microbiome, the better off you will be. That says a lot. But here's the big problem that we have, is that when you say gut microbiome, a lot of people have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So let's take D.L. Hughley, who is a comedian. And I like D.L. Hughley. I really do. I like him as a talent, as someone that I've watched on the stage, as a comedian. I think he does a really good job in that space. I like his confidence in wanting to get out there and share knowledge with people. But DL is a perfect example of a person who is misinformed, and he has a platform where he's sharing information with people who are uninformed. And those uninformed people don't have any other chance but to listen to someone who is an influencer and assume that whatever he is saying, because he says it with such conviction, is actually accurate. So my share, and if anyone who hears this knows D.L. Hughley, please put him in touch with me or share with him what I'm sharing, because he is 1,000% misinformed with not everything, but a lot of the things that he talks about as it pertains to COVID. And I say this with confidence, and I come from a humble heart, because it will take a big person, and I'm talking about D.L. Hughley and others out there, to be open to being educated. Now, he could educate me on comedy, and I 1,000% can educate him on health and the workings of the microbiome as it relates to our health, our ability to become healthier, to include losing weight, and a lot of the current science framed around the relationship between having a healthy gut microbiome and being able to optimize your position or strength as it pertains to COVID and the various variants. So all of that being said, here's the deal. Hippocrates said over 2,000 years ago that all disease begins in the gut. And he was absolutely correct. We are now discovering that. And I am not an expert in the area of the gut microbiome. And even those who I would call an expert will tell you that they're not an expert as it pertains to gut microbiome. However, like those experts, to include myself, we may know more about it and are aware of the various studies than the average person. So most people would put us in a position of being an expert. I'm not an expert because it's mind-blowing to me. And I learn something new about the microbiome every day. And the one thing that is clear the consensus across the board that if you want a healthy microbiome, you must have a diverse microbiome. And a diverse microbiome, for the most part, will become that based on what we eat. Now, your lifestyle, if you're a farmer and you're outdoors and you're around various animals, if you're a hunter type, gatherer type of person, your microbiome is going to be pretty diverse. But we live in a world today where not long ago we were consuming 100 grams of dietary fiber. And today, the average American is consuming about 17 grams of dietary fiber. And the recommendations are somewhere between 25 and 35. So we're not even thinking about, the goal isn't even where we used to be, which was the healthiest state, to where we are now. So what can you do to improve your gut microbiome? Well, you could eat a variety of foods. Now, with my clients right now, we have a 7-day challenge that I put many of them on. And that 7-day challenge is a great way to evaluate what the variety of foods look like for you. And I'm talking about plant-based foods, all fruits, all vegetables, to include beans, legumes, lentils, anything that has dietary fiber. And I also would throw in avocado, minced garlic or garlic. Those would contribute as one of the many foods that you could eat to help get your microbiome to be as diverse as possible. If you're eating the same foods all the time, which is a lot of people, you may look fit on the outside, but your microbiome is not going to be as diverse as you would like, because you're just not eating enough variety. So in my 7-day challenge with clients, and you can do this, and I would love to hear your comments about it when you do it. But the goal is to keep track of every plant-based food you eat and give it a point if you eat it inside of a 7-day period. So for instance, if you eat an apple, you get 1 point. But if you eat an apple on the second day, you don't get any additional points. You only get a point for the first time you eat that variety of food during the week. So if I had an apple on Monday and a pear on Tuesday, that's 2 points. If I eat kiwi fruit on Wednesday, that's 3 points. But if I eat kiwi fruit on Thursday, I don't get a point for that because I already got a point for it. You follow me? If you eat onions, that's a point. If you eat black beans, that's a point. If you eat red peppers, that's a point. Yellow peppers, that's a point. Green bell peppers, that's a point. Same as black beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans. Those are all individual points. So I made a soup today that's a 15 bean soup. That's 15 different beans. So that's 15 points. And then I added green bell pepper, I chopped up. That's a point. Red bell pepper, I chopped up. That's a point. I added onions. That's a point. And then I added minced garlic. So that with the 15 beans, that's 19 points. So the goal inside of 7 days is to get as close to or surpass 30 points. Now, I've had clients who get 8 points their first time doing this, and then they realize that they're eating a lot of the same foods. And if you're eating a lot of the same foods all the time, you know how you see like bodybuilders or people really into fitness and they're eating like every meal looks exactly the same. Well, on the outside, it will help you drop some body fat and you're working out and you're going to look great. But on the inside, you don't have a diverse microbiome and you are not as healthy as you think you are. Diversity is king. So you have this ecosystem inside of your intestinal tract and you want it to thrive. And the way you can help it thrive is to eat a variety of foods. And I'm talking about plant-based foods. Now, there's a lot of people who don't like vegetables at all. Now they'll eat a potato, they'll eat some rice, but they don't like veggies, as most people would look at veggies. And then those people will think, well, I am okay with taking some supplements. Well, supplements, we just don't know. You know what I mean? There's a lot we don't know. Now, there's a lot that we do know. Like, for instance, if you're thinking gut health and you're all about pushing a probiotic or a prebiotic, then that may not be the answer, you guys, because we don't know the real impact of these supplements that you're consuming on your gut health. And there's not a lot of gastroenterologists that are going to jump up and down and say, yeah, just go get a probiotic. Because in reality, what we do know is that when you eat prebiotics, which is dietary fiber in fruits and vegetables that are out there, even whole grains, etc., then that is going to fuel the existing probiotics that live inside of you, right? So they're live already. You have live bacteria, and then that's going to help create what they call postbiotics in the form of short chain fatty acids. That's going to help with inflammation. It's going to help prevent all types of diseases that can take place in your colon. Short chain fatty acids are like gold, and those come about based on consuming prebiotics, fueling the probiotics, and then the outcome is postbiotics. And the answer is not always in taking a supplement. I'm sorry. And I know that a lot of people make money selling supplements, and they're willing to push that over what is the truth, because they would rather make the money than to acknowledge the truth. And that's the truth. Like if I had a prebiotic right now, a supplement or a probiotic supplement that I was selling, because years ago I would encourage people to take a probiotic, for instance, especially if you took antibiotics, because antibiotics will wipe out a lot of your healthy bacteria and your good bacteria. I mean, your good and your bad bacteria. And then you want to replenish that. And so the goal is, let's bring in some probiotics. Well, in I think 2017 or 2018, in Cell magazine, which is an extremely respectable magazine, they published a study that demonstrated clearly that taking a probiotic prolongs the restoration of healthy bacteria. So the best thing a person could do after antibiotics is not to take or consume probiotics, but to eat prebiotics, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, lentils, and that will help them replenish the lost bacteria, the healthy bacteria. Again, it's not my opinion, so you can't be mad at me. I'm just sharing the truth. I'm sharing the data, and I'm able to navigate through it and see it for what it is. And the hardcore reality, you guys, is that fruits and vegetables are your friend. Whole grains are your friend. And we live in a world where people are so caught up in avoiding certain things, right? Like avoiding gluten, avoiding wheat, avoiding, fruit, because they assume that it's high in sugar, that is putting us in a situation where we're having more and more problems, new problems. So when you get your gut healthy, it helps prevent the negatives associated with diseases and viruses like COVID. When your gut health is in place and you have a methodology like Diet Free Life, then you're able to eat in a way where weight loss becomes more effective. I was sharing with a group yesterday a study about these mice, and I've talked about this before, but they've done this study many times, where they take germ-free mice. That means, mice that are born in a sterile environment. They don't even have a microbiome. And then they take human microbiomes, fecal matter, and implant it into these sterile mice. So they took a human being who was at normal weight, and they took the microbiome and they implanted it into one of the mouse or mice. Then they took a person who was underweight, and they implanted their microbiome into one of the mice. And then they took an obese person who is insulin resistant, and they implanted that microbiome into one of the mice. Now, all of these mice were implanted with a different microbiome, and they all continued to eat the same amount of calories every day. They are restricted to the exact same amount of activity every day. And the mouse that was implanted with a normal microbiome continued to be normal. They didn't gain weight, they didn't lose weight, they were just at a normal weight. The mouse that was implanted with the underweight human microbiome ended up losing weight. Even though they were eating the same amount of food, they just started losing weight. And then the human that was overweight, obese, and insulin resistant, that microbiome, when it went into the other mouse, even though that mouse was eating the exact same calories, the exact macronutrient profile of the other two, it became obese. This right here brings total clarity to the reality that calories in and calories out is not accurate. It's not. It can't be. It's not. You guys got to hear that loud and clear. It's not. The hormonal response to the foods that you eat is real. We know that. And we know in the work that we do that's so cutting edge. So thank for all the people that we work with on a regular basis. You are so, I just hope you realize that you are so in the know compared to the average person. They have absolutely no idea. And this is not a dig. This is not a negative. It's just that nutrition science, all of this is moving so fast that for those of you that I know I'm coaching and some of my other coaches who are like up to date with what we're doing, you're getting like the best, most up-to-date, advanced information possible to get. Everyone else, like I was on a phone call with these physicians yesterday, very knowledgeable, very established physicians, and they all were just dumbfounded. They were dead quiet because they had to be, because they don't know what I'm sharing. It was new information. They just don't know. And that's not a dig, it's just they don't know. You know, like they just don't know. So that is what it is. I mean, you can take it however you want to take it, shake it however you want to shake it. But if a person doesn't know, they don't know. And if they don't know and you don't know, then you continue to totally don't know. And that's why I'm always referring to the reality that the world we live in, you have those who are uninformed. And unfortunately, you have many of those who are uninformed being influenced by those who are misinformed. And that is one of the biggest challenges we have as it pertains to having strong, clear nutrition education that's going to help a person lose weight, get off meds, you name it. So the more you can be diverse with your eating, the better it's going to be for you. If you eat the same things all the time, hear me on this, your immune system is not going to be as strong as it could be. It's not. People don't know this. We want to get people educated. This is very, 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 very important. The evidence is clear. The consensus is on point. And it's unfortunate that so many people are falling prey to all these crazy ass diets that are out there. You know, like I saw a guy, and I'll end on this. A very popular guy has close to 2 million subscribers on his website. I saw him actually talk about the gut microbiome today. And this doctor promotes keto. He's real big. He's been big on keto forever. And so everything that he reports, there's always a slant, a biased slant to support keto because that's the horse he's betting on. And to watch him talk about the microbiome made me sick to my stomach because he was twisting the information in a way that he kind of acknowledged it, but he did a pivot on it, a twist on it, where it made it, he spoke about the microbiome in a way that supports doing keto. And in reality, he even referenced in his conversation, he didn't say exactly what the citation was, the study, but he referenced the fact that there was a study done. And he didn't give the specifics, but he references a study, which I'm very aware of this study, where he said that the researchers were biased, and that's a total 1,000% lie. They were not biased. And what he's referring to is that they wanted to understand if what we eat can change the microbiome. And they quickly discovered that within 24 hours, the way you eat influences the microbiome. It can begin the process of becoming healthier. And so they looked at a plant-based way of eating, and then they looked at a keto way of eating. On the plant-based way of eating fruits and vegetables, whole grains, all the things that the keto people tell you not to eat, they saw major improvements with the microbiome. But when a person ate high fat and protein, they saw nothing but negatives take place with the microbiome. Now, not to get too way off, but I know someone who recently died from COVID. I don't know them personally, but I know them well enough that I knew their nutrition habits. This person, a woman, went to CrossFit on a regular basis. She does CrossFit a lot. Very fit on the outside. And she adheres primarily to a paleo way of eating. And there's some good things about that, right? They avoid a lot of processed foods. But then she slanted more toward a keto way of eating. So more fat and protein. Very little carbs that she eats. So she didn't eat a lot of fruit. She ate very little whole grains, if any, and very few vegetables, which is what's going to play a huge role in helping to fuel and make sure your gut is as healthy as possible. So she's avoiding all those things. Well, when you eat primarily fat and protein, in the study, it showed an increase in irritable bowel disease. It showed an increase with the concerns of colorectal cancer. It shows increase of inflammation. There was nothing positive that came out of eating primarily fat and protein. And to watch this doctor on YouTube talk about the microbiome and not acknowledge that made it so clear that he is thinking about his own bank account and not wanting to be real and share the truth. So he did a spin on it. So unfortunate. But a lot of that is going on. And that's why if you guys are not informed, like even with my clients, I go, hey, go Google what I tell you. Here's the PubMed. If you go look it up, don't take my word for it, because it ain't me. I didn't just sleep and just come up with all these ideas. I mean, there's some things that I came up with that make it all work. But every time I talk about something I claim, I got to make sure that it's substantiated for so many reasons. And a lot of these people that are out there, they have some credibility, et cetera, and they don't care. They would rather get another subscriber than to lose one as a result of them telling the truth. So anyway, I hope this helps. If you haven't been eating fruits and vegetables, I hope you get back to it, because it's very important. It really is. What's up there, Susan? If you're still there, Susan said that used to be me with the fruit. Thanks for sharing the truth with me. Yeah, there's so many people that don't eat fruit because they just, somewhere they picked up this belief that fruit is high in sugar and not good for you. And that is so far from the truth. Is there sugar in fruit? Yes. Is there sugar in collard greens? Yes. In broccoli? Yes. So let's not beat up on fruits. Let's just get to the truth. What would be great is if we can get all these people on the same panel, or we do a webinar with different beliefs and different conclusions and have like an open conversation. And if you notice, that doesn't usually happen. And it doesn't happen because ego, people just don't want to mess up their business. So they rather just keep things where they are and go from there. So anyway, you guys have a good weekend. Hopefully there's some good information there. Remember, variety is king. So switch it up. Eat foods you haven't eaten in a while. If you are aware of the Diet for Life methodology, stick to making fat-burning meals and fat-burning snacks. If you're not, then we've provided links where you can learn more about what we do. We even have free consultations if you want to just learn more before you make a decision. And outside of that, like, subscribe, share the information that we put up because we care. I mean, that's really, at the end of the day, that's the only reason why I take a moment like this and talk for 30 minutes is because I actually 1000% care. So it really is that simple. Okay. So I mean, there's nothing. I just care. Because people say, so why do you do that? Why do you share this? And why do you give recipes? And why? Because I actually care. And I believe that what I do is not something that a mass amount of people do, especially at this level. And it's part of my responsibility to give back and share information that can be helpful to other people. All right. So I'm going to take off now because I got my crock pot is going off right now. It's beeping because I made the 15 bean soup, which is amazing. There's 15 different beans. And if you go with my little challenge, that's 15 points. Then I chopped up some bell pepper, green bell pepper, red bell pepper. That's 2 more points. I added some onions and some minced garlic. That's 2 more points. That's 19 points in one meal.